Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So let's get a little personal today. And I feel like this is something most people would not admit or say out loud to friends and family, let alone the internet. But here we go. You could say that I am technically, I think, had a phrase. Okay, I'm pretty sure you could say I was a liberal who has turned conservative. And let me explain what I mean by that. But first, let me say, I don't see very often where you would hear somebody say they were conservative and turned liberal. I feel like that does not happen nearly as much as people who feel like they may be liberals or left or however it needs to be phrased to be understandable. I feel more people in that group setting would say that they have gone over to the right side or the conservative side versus the people on the right saying they've gone left. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm 42. Most of you, if you've been here before, you already know I'm 42. I'm married to a black man. We've been married 16 years. I have a mixed daughter. She's almost 15 years old. I'm from Georgia, living in Florida. Like, a lot of things about me from the outside scream, I guess people could say, liberal or left side, because I have tattoos all over my body. I dye my hair. I'm very opinionated and outspoken, and I have thoughts that a lot of people don't agree with, and I don't really care, So from the outside, people would say that I don't seem like I would be a conservative person just based off of literally a blanket view of me without knowing anything about me or my life itself or how I think and feel, right? And the thing is, when I was younger, it is hot as balls in this Jeep. Also, side note, it is technically 88 degrees here in Okaloosa County, Florida, yet according to the weather app, it's 88, but feels like 102. Isn't that lovely? So, when I was younger, I never paid attention to what was what. I never thought about left or right or any of that kind of stuff. I just knew that I liked the things I liked, and I didn't care what people did with their lives, whatever. It didn't affect me, all this other stuff, right? Now, the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, well, that's not exactly true. A lot of things people do affect me, whether they realize it or not. It affects everybody. And when I was younger, again, I didn't think of it. I had kind of a aha moment today on the treadmill. Let me explain. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but let me explain something. There's this movie called Disturbing Behavior. I doubt many of you have ever seen it. And the reason I say it is because I used to love that movie when I was younger. I thought Disturbing Behavior was such a great movie because I like James Marsden. He's like the main guy in the movie Hop, with the talking rabbit or whatever. And I like, what's her face? I call her Joey Potter. She's from Dawson's Creek. Used to be married to Tom Cruise. Katie Holmes. I like Katie Holmes. And they're in this movie together. And when I used to watch the movie, y'all need to understand the brainwashing that has gone on throughout life. And the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, well, that was subliminal brainwashing, and I was not aware of it. And our kids, my kid, your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews are going through it even worse right now, but we'll get to that. So I watched this movie, Disturbing Behavior, again, when I was younger. And it's basically about this town. I'm going to give you spoiler alerts, by the way, so just FYI, I'm going to pretty much lay it out for you here. This movie is about this family that moves to this little town, okay? This little town, and they go to this high school, and this high school has this group of kids who are considered like the elite kids. They are the basketball players, the football players, the cheerleaders, the jocks, the whatever, but they're also like the really good kids, the straight A's, the yes ma'am, no ma'am, the open the door for people, whatever, right? And everybody else is, basically your normal run-of-the-mill kid. Again, this is me thinking of how I looked at it back then. Normal run-of-the-mill kid. The ones who do drugs, the ones who skip school, the ones who dress highly inappropriately for a 15 or 16-year-old in high school. All these different things. When I was younger, I watched this movie and I thought to myself, okay, that's normal. These kids, the ones who aren't normal are the jocks that are, part of this group. They're called like the Blue Ribbons or something like that. And in the movie, y'all, again, watching it today, I was like, holy jolly, like I realized exactly what's happening here. So in the movie, what I realized today, the jock group, technically, they are being, what's the right word? They have this teacher that is basically putting a chip into their eye or whatever and making them watch all this stuff, like a subliminal, programming kind of thing. But the subliminal programming is them watching a bunch of stuff that is basically conservative stuff. It is basically God bless America. It's basically right wing. It's basically about how family is more important than anything, and how being, doing bake sales and cookie sales and all this stuff is true blood American, all this kind of stuff. And everything else, the people who do the drugs, the people who skateboard, the people who dress a certain way, dye their hair, pierce their nose, get tattoos, are the trash of society, right? And I watched the movie again today, and I realized that this movie was made by clearly left-leaning to make it seem like people who believe in, God bless America, or believe that families are first, and that the small town feel, and that being nice and opening doors and all this other stuff is the weird part of people, that is the gross part, that is the violent part. Because what happens to these kids after they're indoctrinated to be basically homegrown, right? Basically, like you know what I mean when I say homegrown. I know y'all understand. Once they're indoctrinated to be homegrown, if they get aroused or anything happens, they have a tendency to have this like glitch, they glitch out and they become extra violent and all this other stuff. In the movie, watching it today on the treadmill, y'all, I was on the treadmill for a very long time because I refused to stop the movie. I was like, holy crap, I did not realize exactly what kind of stuff I was being shown as a child that made me think that these kids that were supposed to be all about the American flag and family and everything else, that they were the wrong ones, because it made it seem like if you are that way, you're going to have some, mental breakdown and lose your shit and go buck wild, go crazy. Whereas really it's the other side that should be like considered not abnormal, but not the norm. I don't know how to explain this the correct way, but just know that watching it again today as a 42-year-old woman versus when I saw it younger in my 20s is completely different. I understood a completely different message that was being shown or forced or subliminally pushed or anything like that. Absolutely crazy to me. And I realized that I feel like, y'all, if we have 4 more years of what we have right now, this country is going to straight hell in a handbasket. It's already in the handbasket and it's working its way down. And I would not have thought this 15, 20, 25 years ago because I didn't think like this. I didn't notice things like this. And I didn't step back and try to dissect the things that are being shown to me and told to me. They shove all the stuff down your throat and they're like, just believe it. And a lot of people do, because it doesn't occur to them that your government would lie to you, that your president would do things that are not good for you but good for other countries, that anything would be that the people in power, basically the government or the people in media, would mislead you purposefully so that you would be what they want you to be. And that's basically what this comes down to. So my thought process lately has been, if we have 4 more years of exactly what we have right now, we are screwed, because what we have right now, and I'm not just talking about, the Biden administration, but what we have right now under the Biden administration seems to be this massive push for these young people to be as liberal as humanly possible, yet they don't really understand what they are doing or what they're learning or not learning or what they're becoming. Because you see college campuses where these kids are protesting all these things. They have no clue what they're protesting. They have no idea what's going on. They only know what they're being told and being shown by that same side that wants them to be enraged over something that honestly shouldn't be something that is the forefront of their minds, right? You have movies and songs and commercials and TV shows that are aimed at making younger audiences, younger people feel like if they are like people my age or older than me, then that's wrong, bad, boring, gross. You should, let your freak flag fly. I've never been able to say that and get through it on one try. I'm very proud of myself. Yay. If you don't have purple hair, or you don't sleep with boys and girls, or you don't think that you're a girl trapped in a guy's body, or, you don't think that you're a furry, or you don't want to use a litter box, that there's something wrong with you. They're convincing people, children, friggin' children, that if they use a bathroom the way a boy should use a bathroom because they are a boy, that there's something weird about that. They are convincing our younger generations that they don't need families, that they don't need a spouse, they don't need to have kids, they don't need to have a job, they don't need a home, they don't need the basic things in life that are necessary. Okay, well, no, not necessary. It's not necessary for people to get married. It's not necessary for people to have kids. But y'all, it's so hard for me to get all of this that's in here out here to y'all and to make it make sense. And if you've been here before and you've come back again, thank you, because you know it gets a little squirrely over here. Not on purpose. It's just how it works. But I was thinking about it because, again, I have an almost 15-year-old daughter, and the things that she sees versus the things that I see, we have conversations all the time. She'll show me something on TikTok, and I'm like, I need you to understand, just because it's on TikTok does not mean it's real. I can make a TikTok tomorrow and spout all kinds of nonsense BS and throw it out there, and unfortunately, younger generations are going to be like, oh my gosh, look at this, I didn't know. And they're not going to do anything to learn if it's real or not. Whereas I feel like my age and older, we are at a point where we're going, wait a second, this feels different than what I was told when I was younger. This feels different than what I saw when I was younger. This feels different. I just feel different now than I did when I was younger. And what I realize is the Biden administration, the left side, if you will, the Democrats, they are going after people younger than me because people younger than me don't know any better. Not all of them, obviously. I don't want anybody to get their panties in a wad over here. There are plenty of younger people who have brain cells to rub together, but it feels like with the push of everything that's going on in our country, in our society, that they're trying to kill the brain cells that these people have that they could rub together and turn them into just dumbass little zombies, basically the way it goes. So I have these little notes that I wanted to mention to you because I saw my husband and I, Kevin247 on YouTube. We've talked about a lot of these things over on his channel, but we saw a video. It was a debate-ish kind of thing with Ben Shapiro and a whole bunch of other people. And there was this man dressed as a woman, and they're in some sort of political space. I don't know their name because I don't want to learn it because I have no need to jump on the delusional train of men who think they are women by putting on a dress and some lipstick. It doesn't, I don't have time for that nonsense at all whatsoever. As Candace Owens would say, except for I'm not pregnant, what is it? Life's hard, get a helmet. I'm too pregnant for this. Minus the pregnant part. No, that's not happening. But life's hard, get a helmet. That's how I feel about people like that. You do you, boo, is generally what I say. But when you take it into a political space or into girls' sports or any of that kind of stuff, it changes completely. Now, here's my problem. Here's my issue. And this is my question for y'all, because I want to understand this, because I do not understand this. A lot of people, and y'all know that we talk about everything here. I'm not going to placate to the right, to the left, to the middle, to the whatever. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions, whether they align this way, or this way. That it just depends, right? But my question here is, there are a lot of conservatives who agree that transgender stuff makes absolutely no sense, that men thinking they're women and wanting to play in sports basically because they couldn't cut it as a male, so they needed to pretend to be a girl so hopefully they could win something, right? So whatever. Most conservatives or Republicans agree that that is completely wrong. But then how come when Bruce Jenner decides that he wants to be Caitlyn, people embrace that? That has always been my question. I have never really understood why it's frowned upon unless it's on your side. Same thing with the left. Certain things are frowned upon unless it's on their side, and then that little section's okay, but the rest of it's a no-no. Same thing, unfortunately, with the right side. You know, the whole trans thing is a big no-no for a lot of people because it doesn't make sense, because it is a mental health issue, yet Caitlyn Jenner weirdly is accepted. And I have yet to understand that part. That has never made sense to me. Like, to have a hard line of, no, I don't believe this. We'll skirt around this one right here. We'll let that one into the fold. That's never made sense to me. And that's the problem that I see happening. Blurred lines, not the Robin Thicke song, but blurred lines. If you have a group of people who are saying this is wrong, but then they're making exceptions, then it kind of dilutes the this is wrong message, right? So if you have, the conservative side saying men dressing as women and thinking, we have to call them by whatever pronouns they want is wrong, but then you allow certain ones in because politically it may help somehow, that's a blurred line and it doesn't make sense to me. And again, ruffling feathers here, not on purpose, but I'm not going to hold back my thoughts and opinions and questions to, spare somebody's feelings. But I will, obviously apologize if your feelings are hurt. But again, that's not on me. Those are your feelings. I have no control over how you feel. But the question I've always had is, why is it okay, but not okay, but then okay, but not okay? Why do we have so many blurred lines? Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was, I have notes. I literally have so many notes. So Trump had a rally in Philly yesterday, day before. I don't know. It's Sunday and time has flipped away from me for a while. We were in Georgia seeing family for the last few days, so I've kind of lost the thread of time. But Trump was in a rally in Philly and he spoke for 90 minutes. Okay. 90 minutes. Yes, there's a teleprompter with probably like little bullet points, but this man had a conversation with people for 90 minutes. Biden can't have a conversation with people for 90 seconds without forgetting what is going on, where he is, how to keep his butthole closed so it doesn't crap or fart or whatever, getting how to walk upstairs. And I know there may be early onset dementia, senile issues coming into play, and I feel bad talking negatively about anybody who may be going through that. But when that person is the head of the United States of America, we need to continue to reiterate the fact that that man is not stable and suitable to hold office at his age in his mental capacity. He could never have the conversations that Trump has. Trump has this weird thing about him where, one, let's be fully honest, he can say anything and people will believe it, no matter what it is. He could tell you the sky is, let's find a color, hot pink. Well, that does happen sometimes. Hold on, because of, all the chemicals they put in the sky. Let's figure something out. He could tell you the sky is camouflage. And people will be like, yep, that's a camouflage sky. Best camouflage sky I've ever seen. Right? Biden couldn't even tell you what a sky is. He would get confused. Trump can have conversations, though, because he understands what is going on. He knows what's going on. He has thoughts and opinions on what's going on. And he can have that conversation because he believes in the things that he's talking about. Whereas Biden doesn't know what he's talking about. He could never. Without a teleprompter, he's done. If you've ever seen Anchorman, who is it? Brick is the one who will read anything you put on a teleprompter. That is Biden. You throw something up there that makes absolutely no sense, is gibberish, whatever, he's going to read through it because he doesn't know better, because he's not thinking for himself. He doesn't know how to do those things. It is absolutely crazy to me that there is even a debate on who could take over in 2024. Now, I don't have a problem with it being a Democrat versus a Republican. I have a problem with it being the Democrat they have picked versus a Republican. Any Republican, whether it's Trump or not, but it's the Democrat they have picked that makes no sense. It's like they want the country to go to hell in a handbasket. It's like they want the continuation of the delusions that are being spread everywhere. It makes no sense to me. The older I get, the more I step back and go, what in the actual crap has happened to our country, the people who run it, because they run it like a business, right? The people who run it, and then the people that are in it. How do people not know the difference between right and wrong? How do they not know the difference between mentally unstable and mentally fit? You have to think that if the left side is saying that Biden should be president again, they clearly do not understand what mentally unfit means, which also explains their huge push for the trans community and for everything else, because they don't understand that it's mental instability at its finest, right? Look, I get a little heated and a little worked up on certain topics. It's not on purpose. It just happens, okay? I have so much more I want to say, but I feel like I've already done too much. People are going to be like, ma'am, calm yourself. You need to woo-saw a little bit, which is true. I will tell you right now, in the beginning, I didn't like Trump. I did not like Donald J. Trump in the beginning because, and let me explain why. All I saw was the outside, okay? Let me explain. I saw the outside. I saw a man that said he would grab her by the, you know what, and then if he wanted to kiss me, just kiss him. And I heard sexual assault. I heard doesn't take no for an answer. I heard all these things. But I also did not know that half the things he was saying were being spliced up and shown incorrectly by the left, right? The more I have paid attention, the more I have stepped back and gone, stop taking everything for face value. Stop, listening to what they're saying and listen to what they're not saying. Look for what they're not showing you. The more I'm like, oh my gosh, they are blatantly lying about things this man has said. They are blatantly lying about things he has or has not done. And to me, when you do that, it's because you're worried that you have no leg to stand on. You're worried that if you were to tell the truth about your opposition, then they would no longer be your opposition. They would just bowl you over and win whatever, right? The more I listen to the full thing, not just the little snippets that are put up on, all these different news websites. Jesus, come on, Michelle. Brain, not braining. News outlets, the more I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. And again, this has been building for me over time since 2020, honestly, since Biden moved into office. And, the first year they're like, look how great he's doing. No, that's the coattails of everything Trump did from 2016 to 2020. That's not Biden coming in and absolutely being amazing. That is the coattails of what Trump did that were amazing. Now we're in what Biden has done, and it is a flaming pile of dog shit, just so we're all fully aware. Do we want to continue wading through a flaming pile of dog shit until 2028? No, I don't. For those that do, you might be mentally unstable and might want to get that looked at. I'm not saying if you're a Democrat, you're mentally unstable. I'm saying if you still love Biden and think that man has done good things for this country and are excited for the next 4 years, then you might want to step back and go, how much Kool-Aid have I been drinking, right? Because it doesn't make sense to me at all how, after what we have seen going on the last few years, what we know would be projected for the next 4 years, why anybody would say, this is a good idea. We should continue on with what we have in office. I know some of y'all out there watching are Democrats, and I know some of you, we're great with each other in the comment section. Linda, I know that there's a lot of other people who do not agree with me on my political views, although I've never really said what my political views are. Technically, I will say I was more liberal when I was younger, and I have moved more conservative because I have seen what has happened under the hands of the left, right? But again, I've said it before, there are certain things I agree with all around the board, and I don't know if that makes me a Republican, an independent, Democrat. I have no idea. All I know is that I focus on the policies, the things that have happened, the change that has happened, the change that could happen. And I'm trying not to focus on the person itself. So even if I were to take Biden's name out and Trump's name out, the whole thing is the man in office currently is not fit to be there now, let alone for 4 more years. And the man that wants to go into office because of the policies that he would like to enact and the policies and the things that did happen while he was in there last time makes more sense. Policy-based, mental stability-based, not anything else. Those things are very important and need to be talked about and need to be remembered when it comes time to go to whatever voting poll you have in November. You have got to pay attention to what they're not telling you. If you are left, you have got to pay attention to the right. If you're right, you have to pay attention to the left. You can't only tunnel vision your own side, because then you're not going to get the full picture of what is actually going on in this country, what has gone on and what could go on. You have to get the whole entire picture, because part of it, it's nothing. It does you no good, except for, nope, it does you no good. So that's that. Again, I have way more. This is just, I'm getting groceries right now, and I need to finish that because, again, it's hot as balls out, and I need to get groceries home. So I love y'all immensely, Squirrel Tribe. Thank you for letting me have this conversation. And again, most people don't want to have these conversations, which is weird to me. When did we stop being able to talk about things openly without wanting to then end friendships, end family ties, end whatever else, jobs, because we didn't agree with each other on stuff? I might not agree with you on something, but it's not gonna, depending on what the something is, I will put my foot down. If you're racist, we're not friends. It's not gonna be possible. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Other things, we can have conversations, because you have to understand why somebody feels the way they do, why they think the way they do. And too many times we're not learning the why, and we're not having the conversations that could either change somebody's opinion or how they feel, or make it so that people understand each other more. And those are the things we need to be doing right now. Understanding each other more so that we understand what is happening to our country. Yeah, that's it. All right, Squirrel Tribe. I'll see you again later. Okay. Love you. Bye.